So in this mock test, we are going to be assessing Megan, and Megan's been my client for probably about a year and a half now. COVID's obviously been a bit of a nightmare again, otherwise she would have been done and dusted a long time ago. And today's mock test is in Wood Green. Now, I'm just going to leave you with Megan just to describe what her situation is.
So I have what's called hemiplegia, which is minor cerebral palsy on my right hand side. So my right arm and my right leg are less mobile than my left side, so I'm very much left dominant. So that means for the car, I need a Lodgsons, which I don't know if you can see in the video.
Yeah, we can attach that. So it's basically this thing here, and you have all of the controls or secondary controls on the car. So you can do your indicators, windscreen wipers, washers, the horn, the lights, everything's accessible from here. And Megan also turns the steering wheel using that as well.
So that means I just have to steer with my left hand, and I use my right hand for support. And then on the controls, I have the controls on the left hand side, just using my left foot. So I don't use my right foot for anything. But I can drive, well, we'll see, but I think I can drive, you know, with as much ease as anybody else. And the other thing to say is I drive automatic, so I'm not doing any of the sort of clutch controls. But other than that, I think I can drive pretty, you know, like anybody else really. And yeah, so it's been going quite well. So we'll see.
That's it. So with regards to the pedal configuration, basically the accelerator is now on the left hand side, so the brake is on the right. So obviously different configuration to standardized configuration, therefore the license gets coded as a code 20 and a code 25 as well, but otherwise, yes, the pedal's still working exactly the same way as normal. Okay, so mock test time. The test is going to last for 38 to 40 minutes. During that time, one maneuver plus possibly the emergency stop. If I say nothing, assume I want you to go straight or follow the road signs, and if you're not sure of anything, you can ask me to repeat. We are going to do the independent drive from here, which is going to be following the Sat Nav. The Sat Nav will be on the bottom of the screen as well, so you can follow. And at any point, again, you are allowed to ask for some advice. We will give you one of the show me tell me questions as well on the move. We'll do one now as well, just to give you a little bit of a prompt. So how would you adjust your head restraint, and how do you know it's set correctly? Challenge.
So the head restraint is this thing here. Don't you just sort of lift it up, right, to adjust it or push it down? And if it's set correctly,
so the buttons.
Oh, you've got buttons at that, do you?
So if you pull that down now, that's it.
Yeah. So you know it's set correctly because you can sort of feel your head against it without having to lean too far back.
Okay, yeah, in a way. So basically the add-on to that is that your eye level should be in the centre of the pad. Okay, so a bit evil, because obviously I didn't tell you that we were going to do that. Okay, so whenever you're ready, we'll drive on. Sat Nav was quiet there, so it's turn left here.
Turn left.
Okay, I'd like you to park on the left where it's safe and convenient to do so, please. Thank you. And drive on when safe to do so, please. So So as you can see, Megan hasn't checked her right shoulder on that pull away, so it's a driving fault for moving off safety.
After 200 yards, bear left, Perth Road. Then, at the end of the road, turn right.
It's important to remember when the Sat Nav says to bear left or bear right, that it tends to mean it's a bend, but look at signs and road markings. We can see the sign here on the left shows that the road is a bend, and the road markings will also show that as well. Megan does really well here not to freak out and put an indicator on, which commonly does happen at this junction.
At the end of the road, turn right, White Hart Lane.
Oh no, so it's not that one.
It's okay, no worries at all. Megan has correctly identified it's not that road and cancelled her indicator. There's no one behind, so no big deal.
Turn right.
So good planning to move over to the left hand side there. Some of you may think that she hasn't checked her left mirror. But because
also, her observations here are really good. You can see just repeatedly checking both right and left hand sides. This helps avoid hesitation. Well done.
After 200 yards, turn left, Rowland Hill Avenue.
Megan's checked her mirrors correctly, but she's put the indicator on a bit too early here, so this would be marked down as signals timed. She starts to turn a little bit late here, so she overswings at this point, so that would be marked down as control steering. On the left, but don't mount the pavement, and don't worry about driveways on this occasion either.
Okay. Park on the left, but don't mount the pavement.
That's it.
So just pull up, basically.
Yep, just a normal pull over.
At the end of the road, turn right, Devonshire Hill Lane. Then, at the end of the road, turn left.
Thank you, and drive on when safe to do so, please. So the right shoulder check is back, and that's exactly what we want to see. Much better.
Oh, I don't know if I needed to signal there really, but...
And to answer that question, I would have signalled because of this oncoming white vehicle. Remember, if in doubt, indicate when pulling away. It's not an issue.
Turn right, Devonshire Hill Lane. Then, at the end of the road, turn left.
And you can see that time the turn is much better, it's more direct, so keep that coming.
Okay, so we're going onto a dual carriageway.
Turn left, A10, Great Cambridge Road.
I admit I am being a bit mean here, but because it's a compulsory left turn, an indicator is not needed. As she's one of my clients, I am going to give her a driving fault, and some examiners will as well. It depends on really the examiner, which I know it shouldn't really be the case, but I'm going to be strict with my client here.
After 400 yards, go right on the roundabout and take the third exit towards Edmonton.
Megan does leave this lane change quite late, but she does check her mirrors and she does move across in good time. Preferably move across earlier though.
You got a bit nervous then.
It's very close on the left. And yes, that was a nervous laugh. So sadly, she did pick up a serious fault there for clearance to obstructions. This lane is very tight, so if you do feel that you're driving over the drains on the right hand side, that's not actually a bad thing in this situation.
Right, on the roundabout. So I need to signal left, right? Yes.
Say what?
Clearly, her anxiety has started to kick in, and this is the problem with the Great Cambridge Roundabout. It has this fear factor, and if you start worrying about it, it goes horribly wrong. Now, obviously, having a left indicator to turn right, I've had to give her a serious fault for signals correctly here. But this is where the domino reaction starts to kick in. Watch what happens next.
Right, third exit.
So she's identified where she's going, but you'll see her steering here becomes rather aggressive, and she also changes lane without checking her mirrors. So she picks up a serious fault here for change of direction use of mirrors. She should be in this lane instead. But then this is where it gets even more confusing. She stops at this green traffic light. Now the person behind beeps, and I'm having to prompt her to say, look, there's a green light, and she goes when it's on the amber. So she also gets a major fault, or a serious, for response to traffic lights as well. But this is the problem. If you stress about the Cambridge Roundabout, you will make mistakes. So practice, practice, practice.
Okay, turn left onto Westway.
Turn left.
This junction also catches Megan out. We can see the traffic light says straight only, and there's no stop line on the floor. So that traffic light is not for people turning left. She does react on her own accord, so it would be marked down as a driver fault for response to traffic lights. But remember, there's no stop line, that light is not for you. Megan acts well to this vehicle that's parking in front. She holds it back, she stays behind the pedestrian crossing to make visibility better before proceeding. Really well done, great gentle stop, and a good mirror check as well.
After 200 yards, turn left, Silver Street, then turn right. After 200 yards, turn right, Victoria Road, then, at the end of the road, turn right.
And this is also a junction that catches a lot of people out. It's a bend, not a turn, even though the Sat Nav seems to think it is. Now Megan puts her right indicator on, but she's positioned in the left lane, and I've had to prompt her here to stop her from stopping in the yellow box and getting a fine. So it would be marked down as lane discipline rather than road markings. Had she have stopped in the yellow box, then it would be marked down as a serious fault for road markings instead.
After 100 yards, turn left, Gloucester Road, then you have reached your destination.
Okay, it was that road, but don't worry,
Okay.
carry on driving.
Okay.
Luckily there's no one behind, but remember, if you do go the wrong direction, don't worry about it, just carry on going, don't slow down, don't try to make any other turns until the examiner or the Sat Nav tell you otherwise. Okay, so we're going to stay in this lane,
Yeah.
and at the roundabout ahead, I'd like you to go straight across,
Okay.
second exit.
Does that mean we're doing Cambridge again?
It does.
This is unfair. Would this happen on an actual test?
So some of the test routes do involve the Cambridge Roundabout a couple of times. Obviously we weren't supposed to go this way, so
No, it's my fault.
you've got to put your foot in this one. Yeah. that?
Okay, so we're going to go straight.
That's it.
So I'm not going to do anything. I should be in the lane. What's this guy doing?
Megan's correct to hold back here. The person in the blue car on our left is doing something rather random, no idea what, but I definitely wouldn't want to be right next to that vehicle because the chances are they're probably going to damage yours, so holding back here is definitely sensible.
I'm going to do something.
Stay this way.
Okay. Okay, it was too risky.
This is the correct lane.
Okay, good. Okay, let's go.
I've had to take control of the steering wheel there because she drifted into the right lane and there's a car on her right hand side, so that would be a serious fault for change of direction.
Why did you want to go in the right lane?
Really important you just exaggerate the left hand side. But listen to
Why
what
did you
happens
want to go
here.
in the right lane?
Because I wasn't going for the right lane, I went into the left lane to go off.
Okay.
We'll watch
show
it
you the
back.
video
Yeah.
And this is why reviewing a video clip is really helpful in your development. So if your instructor uses a dash cam, use it to your advantage.
Okay, next road on the left, just after the bus stop. Wait for the bus stop to
Megan does position into this filter lane a little bit late, but she does go into it in its entirety, so it's not much of a problem. But whenever you have a filter lane, get into it as soon as possible because then it allows anyone behind you to continue to drive without slowing down.
And we'll take the next road on the right. And we'll take the second road on the right. Okay, and what I'd like you to do is go head first into any of the bays on the right or on the left.
Okay.
You don't have to stop, you can go straight into this manoeuvre as long as effective observations have been done, but unfortunately she doesn't check her shoulder or the mirror as she pulls away, so that would be a driver fault for observation on the manoeuvre.
Happy with that?
Can I check it?
Of course.
Yeah, I'm in on this side. Yeah, I'm in on that side. Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. What I'd like you to do is reverse the car out, back of the car to the left, please.
Okay.
And so she should be happy with that. Perfect manoeuvre, slap bang in the middle of the bay, and also really good observations on the reverse. That is what we want from our manoeuvres.
Okay, drive on safe to do so. End of the road, turn left, please.
Unfortunately here she doesn't do her all-round observations, so that is a driving fault for moving off safety. And again, bit of oversteer there, so that would be a control fault for steering. Sadly, they weren't doing their driving test because they would not have got their licence for that one. Well done, Megan, you reacted really well to that.
Roundabout ahead, turn right, second exit.
Another steering fault there as well. Need to start straightening up a little bit earlier. We always advise about half to 3/4 of the way into the turn to start straightening up. Megan approaches this turn well. She slows the car down, she keeps over to the left hand side. And at this point she should be steering more to the right. She does get a bit close to this white van and car, so she does get a driver fault for adequate clearances. And the instruction here is to turn left, and you can see she's starting to already go over to the left hand side, and then she starts turning a bit too early, and unfortunately I've had to dual control her. So that's a serious fault for adequate clearances. Take the next left, please. Megan plans really well for this. She slows it down nice and early and holds well back. Her intention is very clear for that white vehicle, so really good job. Whenever it's safe to do so, I'd like you to sound your horn. Good, thank you. Approach speed into this bend is very sensible, and she keeps it nice and wide as well, so position for vision for a better decision. Well remembered. Take the next road on the left, please. Unfortunately, there's another control fault here for steering. You can see very late turn, very wide. Always turn into the apex, and especially on a road like this where you can't see into that road properly, it's really important that you keep that turn nice and tight. Then at the end of the road, turn right, please. Megan does well here with her creep and peep. It's a very impaired junction due to the van that's parked on the left, and made even more difficult with this silver car parked the way it was. So well done with acknowledging all of that at that junction. At the end of the road, turn right again, please. Now acknowledge that this is a one-way street, and because she's turning right, she should be as far over to the right-hand side as possible. By positioning on the left here would actually be a serious fault. Now, she's not that far over. She is more over to the right-hand side, so it does show she's acknowledged it is a one-way street, but it would still be a right turn fault on the driving test. Again, just exaggerate the position and it saves all that headache. Take the next road on the left. On the left after the silver car, but one car length before the next vehicle. Okay, don't worry about the driveway, you can block it. So after the motorbike.
Oh, after, sorry.
Okay. But one car left before the next car.
Okay.
That's fine there, thank you. And driver on safe to do so, please. This is what's called the angled start, and this is actually counted as one of the manoeuvres. It's compulsory in every test. It's to make sure that you're doing effective observations, you're not getting too close to the car in front, and you're not getting in the way of any oncoming vehicles. That was a nice pull away, good observations, well done. End of the road, turn right. Take the next road on the left. Okay, we'll do that as the end of the test. Normally we would obviously go into the test centre car park, but we're not allowed in there at this moment in time. Okay. How do you feel that one went?
I've seen your other videos where it says don't fail yourself. So
Yep.
I'm going to do the positive stuff.
Good.
first. I think the sort of free driving was okay. So hopefully the turns were right, and I tried to remember to manoeuvre, to mirror signal manoeuvre. So hopefully my mirror work was all right. And then the parking bay, I think went well. I think I was sort of straight in there first time. Did we do an emergency stop? No, we didn't do an emergency stop. I think where I struggled was obviously the dreaded Cambridge roundabout, which is not fair. I had to do that twice. So I think that's probably where, if like assuming I failed, that's probably where I failed. And the other place where you had to grab the steering wheel was when I veered too close to another car on the left, which we know is a bit of a recurring problem of mine. So I think those were probably my two biggest errors.
Okay, cool. So, I'll give you the count.
Yeah.
So you got 13 driver faults.
Okay.
You got 7
Yeah.
serious faults.
No way.
Okay.
Oh, no.
But a couple of them were the same thing done
Okay.
a few times. Okay, so we'll go along the sheet.
Yeah.
So as you correctly said, head first bay park, all good.
Yeah.
The only thing, when you reverse back, your observations were really good.
Okay.
Okay, but you didn't look around again before you pulled away.
Okay.
Okay, so you've got to do another
Okay.
observation before you drive
Okay.
on. When you did the head first bit though, so when you were actually going into the space, I do want a bit more mirror work. So
Okay.
you did pick up a driver fault from that bit.
Okay. That makes sense.
The steering, a couple of times we're going into turns quite wide or getting really close
Okay.
to islands.
Okay.
So we just got to again have that smoothness to our steer. Now the use of mirrors, as you correctly said, for signalling,
Yeah.
really good. Okay, but you got 1 driver fault and 2 serious faults on
Okay.
change of direction, and this was on the Cambridge roundabout.
Yeah.
Now
That makes sense.
it's one of these ones that whether you mark it down for a change of mirrors or mark it down for lane discipline, it's the same sort of thing, but it comes from the use of mirrors, which is more the problem.
Okay.
So you should stay in your lane, and you are changing lane.
Yeah.
Okay. Now
Stay
the
in your
problem
lane.
is because you're changing lane,
Yeah.
you're not checking your mirrors before you're changing the lane,
Yeah.
and that's why it gets marked down as that.
Okay.
So on one of the occasions, yes, I took the steering wheel from you.
Yeah.
There was a car on your right hand side.
Yeah.
Would you have had an accident with that? Probably not. It was far enough behind, but you were now putting yourself into a position where you were going to make the exit a lot more difficult, and that's
Okay.
why I took the steer.
Okay.
But you didn't check your mirrors before doing that drift. So we've got to stay in that lane,
Okay.
okay? And you'll see that in the video. Because you said I was in my lane. You were, okay.
I was in A lane.
Yeah, that's it. So something that we need to work on. The other thing was change the speed, so we need you to check your rear
Okay.
view mirror when slowing down.
Okay.
Okay. Now, signals. You had one necessary, which basically you're indicating for a compulsory left turn.
Okay.
There's no real need for that.
Okay. So
Okay.
you would get marked down for that.
If they want to be picky.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
being picky. Obviously, you're one of my clients.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you would. Okay. So if it's not necessary, don't do it.
Don't need it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. But the serious fault for correctly. So you've come up to the Cambridge roundabout and the instruction is turn right, third
Oh
exit.
God! So I got it wrong. Okay.
Why
So-
indicate left?
Yeah. Because I thought you did left, and then you put right on when you were coming off.
Have you ever done that on any other lesson?
I guess not.
Never.
Okay, well, it's good that I did it now. So, what would you do in that scenario if it was,
So what direction are you going?
so we're going right, so you indicate right? It's that simple.
That's the one.
Okay.
Indicate where you're
Okay,
going.
okay.
Because by putting the left indicator on there,
Yeah.
you're telling people, I need to move that way.
Yeah.
And you don't.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a straight out major fail. Yeah.
Because it's giving
Yeah.
other
Wrong
people wrong
information.
information.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
You can exit signal once you've gone past, say, the second
Yeah.
exit, but you don't need to do it
Okay.
on the approach.
No, that was really. It's good that happened.
Yeah, exactly. Now, clearance of obstructions, yeah, the infamous with you. One minor, two majors. So the first one was
Yeah.
when we were going on the A10 and you said, got a bit scared there. I was like,
Yeah.
yes, I am. You were really close to those trucks.
Okay.
Okay, now there are some drains on the right hand side
Okay.
of our lane. You should be feeling that.
Okay.
Okay, because those lanes are narrow. Okay, this car is also a tank.
Yeah.
So you need to be utilising that extra space.
Okay.
You had a gap between you and those trucks of probably no less than that. Okay,
Okay.
so it was
It was really bad.
really tight.
Yeah.
Use the available
Okay.
space.
Got
Okay,
it. Got it.
so if you think about it this way, you've got air on that side,
Yeah.
and you've got loads of circular saws and knives on that side.
Okay.
Move into the
Yeah.
air.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
use that space.
That's a good way to think about it.
The other one as well, when we went round that bend, it's quite late on in the test. So we had the 20-mile-an-hour road after we did the speed bumps and we were sort of going over those, and there was a right-handed bend. As you did the right-handed bend, there was an oncoming vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah, the oncoming vehicle was, I can't remember if they were giving way or whether they were parking, but we went really close to the cars on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
And there's no need because
Okay.
they're not even attempting to go. So take the dominant position. What happened later on, you then pulled into the left-hand side too early, and then I had to take control of the
Okay,
car
yeah.
because we were going to hit that silver car as well. Response to signs and road markings. This was all after your freak out on the Cambridge roundabout, really. So we came up to the traffic lights where we were asked to turn left. Now the
Okay.
traffic light was red.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Now, when we turned left, there's no stop line on the floor there.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing is the traffic lights had straight only arrows.
Right.
So, for us to turn left, was that traffic light applicable to us?
No.
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 So we just needed to
Okay.
go.
Okay.
Okay. Now, obviously, on the opposite end of the spectrum,
And would that be an automatic bail?
no, because there was no
It
one
might-
behind.
Might be a minor though.
Yeah. So I've given you
Yeah.
a minor for
Yeah,
that.
okay, that makes
So
sense.
response to road
Okay.
markings. But then we had response to traffic lights.
Okay.
So this was on the Cambridge roundabout.
And
Why did we stop for a green traffic light?
because I was panicking at that stage, so
cool.
I actually didn't even see it at all. So it was pure panic.
That's fine, okay? But that's the thing. This is not
Yeah.
something that you've ever done with me before. But you can see if you have one error, and I think
Yeah.
this all stemmed from you saying, do I need to indicate left on the roundabout?
Yeah, maybe.
And that one
Yeah.
uncertainty just
Yeah.
triggered the rest of the
Yeah,
problems.
you know what? I think that's true.
You know, so what you
Yeah.
just got to think is, forget that, I've done that now.
Yeah.
Let's
And keep
concentrate on what
driving.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because it's that dwelling
Yeah.
which then causes
Yeah.
the knock-on
Yeah.
problems. Okay. Junctions turning right. I'm trying to remember where that one was now. So that was when we were following the Sat Nav, and the Sat Nav said for you to follow the road to the right, or no, turn right, then turn right again. And it's a poor instruction on the Sat Nav, but look at the screen, okay? That's
Okay.
what gives you the heads up. So the road bent to the right, and at the traffic light we were turning right.
Okay.
But you positioned in the left lane.
Okay.
And again, we were uncertain what we were really doing, and what was painted on the floor there?
A marking for turning left, turning right,
Before that,
going straight.
the yellow box junction.
Okay.
So you were going to stop
Oh yes, I remember it now.
in that yellow box.
Yeah.
Okay, remember,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to stop
No,
in
no,
that
no,
yellow
yeah,
box.
yeah.
You've got to stay before that. Okay.
Again, is that a minor?
Major,
That's a major.
because I had to give you a heads up
Yeah.
to get you out of that
Yeah.
position. Okay. Junctions turning left, a little bit wide into your left turns.
Okay.
You started to turn a bit later than you would do normally, so you get to have 2 driver force for that.
Okay.
Okay, so obviously a few things that we need to work on, but they all fall into the same sort of category. So the Cambridge roundabout, the Cambridge roundabout, the Cambridge roundabout, and just getting you further away from
Yeah.
the park.
Other cars, which we know is a problem.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so
Cool.
found that useful?
Yeah, very, very. I think a really good thing to have done. And now I know where to signal when approaching the Cambridge roundabout. If you're turning right, that is.
That's it.
But,
And obviously it's something that we're going to work on.
Yeah, but definitely good to have done for sure. So thank you.
Perfect, pleasure. All right, so if you also want to do a mock test, feel free to contact me on our website, which is here, or call us on the phone number, which is down here, and we'll help you out as soon as we can as well. And all the best.